We are live for episode 128 of the Wise Guys podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Capozziello, and with me back again is Justin Ray. I got a nice little new setup, Justin. I'm standing now. Got to keep the circulation going in my freaking legs and stuff. I always see Pat McAfee doing it, Justin. I always like it. You get the energy going. You get the things rolling. But, Justin,
missing the tank top.
Missing the tank. Oh, no. I don't have the arms for that. Justin. Sorry. Can't be rocking that. But we are got a lot of stuff to dive into today, Justin. The NFL world is on fire. Week 3 is shortly upon us. In less than 1 hour, the Giants and the 49ers will be playing Thursday night football. Saquon Barkley out. Andrew Thomas out. Lots of injuries going on. Trayvon Diggs tore his ACL. He is going to be out for the season. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And we're going to discuss a little bit of week 2 that Justin didn't get to be able to discuss with us. But before we dive into all that, Justin, how are you doing this fine Thursday evening, September 21st, 2023?
I'm glad you said it. Do you remember the 21st night of September? Happy 21st of September for all of you guys that actually know that song. So I'm doing great, man. Just got out of work. I was hoping that we could have done this morning, but here we are, a few minutes away from Thursday night football, where we get to see possibly Daniel Jones shock the world on Thursday night. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm happy to be here, bro. Let's do this. Let's talk some ball.
Definitely not going to shock the world. But let's dive right into it, Justin. You weren't here for the Week 2 reactions on Monday night I did with JQ. Shout out JQ. So let's dive into a little bit of Week 2's action. Justin, the Bengals have fallen to 0-2 on the season. This is their third straight season falling to 0-2. Does this 0-2 feel different than last season?
Oh, it definitely does. And the thing is, since the beginning of the season, or even before that, I always said my number one team in the AFC North is the Baltimore Ravens. And Baltimore starting off 2-0, Cincinnati starting off 0-2. We've had this conversation before, just how different all these sports are. In the NFL, every week matters. And starting off 0-2 is not fantastic at all. So, and the thing is, it's not even just them starting off 0-2. You can go 0-2 like the Patriots have and have played some solid football games, but the Bengals just don't feel the same. They don't look the same. The same juice isn't out there. Joe Burrow looked horrendous in week 1 and was okay in week 2. We haven't got to see the explosiveness of Jamar Chase and that offense really come together. So it's kind of a tricky situation right here for Cincinnati, because you and I sit here, we all believe, you say the Browns are the best team in the division. And they're now just falling behind the 8 ball. The Steelers just got a big win in prime time on Monday. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the Bengals and I'm looking at their schedule and who they have next week. Things just don't get easier for them, in my opinion. They don't. The Rams, in the preseason, we might have just snuffed them off and said, don't worry about it. But they've shown you otherwise in the first 2 weeks of the season. The Titans have played close football games every game so far this season. Then you maybe get a break with the Cardinals. But then things get tougher. So I'm not going to write the Bengals off, but I will tell you one thing, man. Their road to get to the playoffs just got that much more difficult.
I mean, 100% it got more difficult. Listen, they might have started 0-2 the last couple of seasons, Justin, but you're right when you mentioned to me this 0-2 start feels a little different in my eyes, as well as yours. And I think the biggest concern would be Joe Burrow's calf injury, right? He rushed back from the calf injury. I spoke about this on Monday, and you'll hear all the sports pundits talk about this. he rushed back from the calf injury. He suffered the injury in late July, early August. I'm forgetting the exact date. Missed basically the entire preseason, and then we had the quote from Jamar Chase, right, that said, don't rush back. It's all good. We're going to need you down the stretch, right? And Joe Burrow, like I said, rushed himself back. He wanted to be back for his team, his fans, for himself, for everybody, right? And he's a competitor. He's a gamer, and that's why a lot of people love Joe Shiesty, as I said. But sometimes you got to be, safe from yourself. Sometimes the coaching staff has to protect the players. And I think the smartest decision, I know hindsight's 2020, Monday morning quarterback we're doing now, but hindsight is, looking back at it, the Bengals should have rested him, taken an extra 2 weeks off. Now this week coming up in week 3, they have a Monday Night Football game, so that's an extra day of rest too. And you're going into a stretch where, Justin, I agree, the games get a little bit, are going to be difficult, but I would say this is their most winnable stretch. I think the next 3 to 4 games, I forget when that stops right there. I can actually pull it up. I have the Bengals right here. So yeah, you got the Rams, Titans, Cardinals, Seahawks, right? So those 4 games, while you say, yeah, I predicted the Rams are going to be back to playoff form, they've looked a lot better, right? Titans I've always said, they're going to be a competitive team. They're going to steal some games. It's in Tennessee too. Arizona, that's a wash. You're going to be able to win that game. Seattle, it's in Cincinnati. Seattle is usually not as good of a team on the road. We all know that, but they're still a competitive team. Then you hit Sizzler with the 49ers and Bills, right? Think about if they've rested him the first 2 weeks, and then he's coming back for the Rams or Titans game. I'd feel a lot more comfortable. He'd be closer to 100%, but now he's less than what he was at the start of the season. And we just saw it with Aaron Rodgers, calf injury. You get a calf injury that puts a lot more strain on your Achilles, and that can go. Not wishing for that, not praying for that at all, hoping Joe Shiesty is going to be healthy, but he hasn't practiced yet. It looks like he might not play Monday. So, trouble in Cincinnati for me. I'm not, and listen, I said this on Monday too, Justin. I said, it's okay if the Bengals have a down season this year, because you're going to usually have a down season. It's not a cause for concern. They still got, like Joe Burrow said, as long as you got me, everything's going to be cool in Cincinnati. And they got him locked up for a long time. Jamar Chase is most likely going to get locked up. T. Higgins is probably going to be on his way out. But like I said, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be fine as long as they got number 8 as their starting quarterback.
Well, I think the biggest thing about their 0-2 stretch really comes down to also the fact that their 2 losses didn't just come against anybody. They came against divisional, rivals. So that just sets them back even more. So it's not like I just lost a game against the Rams on a Sunday afternoon. Fine. But now you're making up ground in the division. So that's where it makes it so much tougher. I do believe, one, I'm not going to write them off because I just believe Joe Burrow and company are too talented for me to write off. But like I said before, and I think you and I are in agreement here, just this is a little different.
100%, yeah. I'm not, yeah, they could still come back, bounce back. Joe Burrow is not, like I mentioned Aaron Rodgers earlier, but he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not 38, 39 years old. He's in his early 20s, mid-20s, so that body's, recovers a little bit more faster in your younger years. All right, Justin, I know this is another thing you probably wanted to talk about. Hey, you're G-Man, apparently. You're G-Man. You got so many teams, Justin. I'm just disgusted by you at sometimes. Just disgusted by you. The New York Football Giants completed a major comeback, being down 21 points at one point, 20-0 at one point as well. To prevent starting 0-2, Justin, give me your thoughts on the Giants' major comeback against Arizona Cardinals.
Got some real problems. A lot of problems. Listen, if you start off that way, the way you started off in the first half against the Cardinals, against this 49ers team that they're playing tonight, the Giants are going to be very, very far behind the 8 ball, almost where you can't come back. So there's levels to this, and they just got lucky that they were playing against the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Giants really need to look themselves in the mirror. There comes a point in time where, yeah, there's not still – I'm not going to make excuses for Daniel Jones, because when you play poor football, you play poor football. If the O-line isn't going to protect you, and it is what it is at this point. We can't keep making excuses. So they don't have the explosive weapons. The O-line is very sucky, and we saw it in week 1. We saw it in week 2. The defense has been shaky, still yet to record a turnover and a sack. So I think they're the only team in the NFL that hasn't done that yet. So I think the Giants have some major problems, and if the reports are true, I believe Brian Dable took over play calling in the second half, so maybe that changed the absolute game for the New York Giants. But if that's the case, then maybe we might see better football out of their offense. And, that second half Giants team was a completely different team that we saw, from the first 6 quarters of football. Daniel Jones was playing fantastic, delivering absolute darts. Jalen Hyatt stepped up, made some big plays for them too, which I'm excited to see. I want to see him play a little bit more. Victor Cruz jumped the gun a little bit and compared him to Justin Jefferson, so I wouldn't go that far. But Saquon Barkley had a monster game. Didn't rush like crazy, but he always impacts the game, whether it be with his blocking or his receiving skills. So unfortunately now he's out. But the Giants have talent. They're just not maximizing it. And it's just a matter of if you protect the quarterback, if you get Daniel Jones enough time so he can go through his first read, his second read, and go through all of his progressions, I think you have a good chance to succeed or at least keep these games close. But if you're not doing that and you keep on letting that revolving door go through your O-line, then you're going to have more results quite like the first half of that Cardinals game and that Cowboys game in week 1. So as big as I am a fan of, a supporter of what the New York Giants are and what they do, this is you got to get over that honeymoon phase over last season. This is a new year. Can't rely on what you did last year. So I'm anticipating them to lose tonight, but I'm hoping that they make it competitive. At least cover the spread. You can't lose by more than 10.
I mean, without Saquon Barkley and Andrew Thomas, not arguably, your 2 best players on offense, arguably your 2 best players on your team, that's a tough go. Yeah, you mentioned their offensive coordinator. Didn't know this. Justin, you want to take a crack? Do you know who the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants is? I'll give it a former quarterback, not well-known, backup quarterback, bounced around a bunch, played in Philly, New England, Jacksonville, Tampa, Minnesota, Tennessee, Cincinnati. A bunch of those teams were just off-season or practice squad.
The thing is, I'm going to be mad when you say the name because I know the name.
4th-round pick.
Just tell me.
Mike Kafka.
There we go, Kafka. Okay.
Yeah, you know Kafka.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So he did take he was given play calling duty last year. I'm reading after a strong preseason, and he continued it. And obviously, you just said you saw the report, and Brian Daboll took back control of that. Did a pretty damn good job under Josh Allen.
I don't know if that's for certain that happened.
Yeah. Well, speculation. Right?
Yeah, speculation.
Allegedly. For me, the Giants, right? I think you're fine. I'm hearing your words, Justin, and the more I'm hearing them, and I think as the weeks go on, the more you're basically just saying you agree with me, and you think that I was in the right with the prediction of the Giants. You were having them 10-7, which I thought was absolutely maddening and insane.
They're 1-1.
Are they finishing 10-7, Justin?
I'm sticking with my guns.
No, you're not, because you just said last episode that we talked, and I asked you, are they going to finish with the same record as the Cowboys? And you said no.
Oh yeah, I knocked it down by 1.
So they're going to finish 9-8.
I think I said either 9-8 or 8-9. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. All right. Well, you know what? That's still a mid team where they really are. 6-11, 8-9, same. Listen, they're having a regret. They're going to regress. Okay. And I think everybody's going to come to the realization that Daniel Jones is not that guy. And it's no shot at him, but you're basically going to have to ask yourself at the end of the season, the Giants are we closer to Caleb Williams? Actually, they're going to have to ask themselves that question kind of now. Are we closer to Caleb Williams or are we closer to Lombardi? I think we can all answer that question honestly and objectively. Next up, Justin.
The thing is, to touch on that, and that you make a great point there. It's true. You gotta ask yourself that question. But it's almost, I'm putting my foot in my mouth when I said I don't want to make excuses. But the truth of the matter is, you surround Daniel Jones with a solid O-line. I think you have yourself a damn good quarterback. I don't think you just have this average Joe. I think Daniel Jones has the potential to be a Pro Bowl quarterback. I just don't think that's possible.
What does
with the
hold on?
O-line
What
that he has.
at this point in time, what does Pro Bowl mean to you? Because
So I mean, yeah, Pro Bowl nowadays is diminished, but I'm saying a quarterback on the level of the Kirk Cousins of the world, that he's capable of being as successful as Kirk.
I don't see that. I really don't. I don't see the poise in the pocket from Daniel Jones as a Kirk Cousins. I don't see the accuracy
because he has no pocket.
All right. Well, yeah, but you say that he's got the mobility to move around, but I'm just saying I don't see it. We can't keep making excuses for this guy. You got to evaluate him, and you're gonna have to be honest with you. And you've seen more bad tape than you've seen of good tape. That's it. That is what it is. Next up, Justin, the Denver Broncos 0-2. Sean Payton. Straight up, did he make a mistake?
I'm not gonna say. Well, yes, he did make a mistake. Yeah, if you had the opportunity to find a way to go coach the Chargers, I mean, I heard that he wanted to be there, just upper management of the Chargers otherwise did not want him. So
yeah, well, not that the reason why he wanted to go to either LA or Dallas, that was the choice. Dallas, Jerry basically didn't want to give up a first round pick for him, and the Chargers were being a cheap team. They didn't want to fire Staley, pay him off, and then pay Sean Payton another $10 million per year. So,
well, I think it's a mistake on both parts now. So the way we're looking at it, realistically, Sean Payton, as much as it would have been nicer to see him play with Justin Herbert and that dynamic offense over there with the Chargers, I think he's still in an okay spot. Russ has looked better in the first 2 weeks of the season than he did last year already. You're playing with a former Super Bowl winning quarterback that's been in MVP conversations year after year in his days in Seattle. So it's not a bad move whatsoever. So, but I just think the Denver Broncos are in a little bit of trouble because one, you play in a tough ass division. This isn't an easy division, and you lost 2 games at home. So you're supposed to defend your turf, and then you have the lead at one point against Washington. You let a first-year starter and Sam Howell go in there and dice you up completely. And if it wasn't for a miracle heave at the end of the game, you're not that close to winning that football game. You lose by a full touchdown, So I think that they're in a little bit of trouble. They need to find the ground game. They need to find some consistency from pass catchers. Is Jerry Jeudy going to step up and be a one? Is he going to be the guy that he was supposed to be? Marvin Mims had a fantastic game against Washington. He seems to be a good prospect that they got. They just need somebody. They need guys to step up, realistically. I want to see Javonte Williams tote the rock because that was a guy that everybody was excited about going into last year, and then an injury tore his season apart. So they have a lot of questions to be answered. I don't know who they have this week, but I know I did the pick 'em. I just don't remember off the top of my head who they have.
We got the Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
Yeah,
in Miami. That's a tough one.
Yeah, we'll get to that pick 'em in a little bit. Denver Broncos. Yeah, me and JQ had a little bit of a discussion about it. I'm gobsmacked, dumbfounded. What's going on in Denver? If you look at the stats tell you the offense is not the problem anymore. Okay, I was surprised to hear this. The Denver Broncos offense leads the league in points per possession through 2 weeks. All right, so that's not the problem right now. The problem is the defense. And like you said, giving up 35 points to Sam Howell and the Washington Commanders, while Eric Bieniemy's got them looking good, that's still the Washington Commanders. And the Denver Broncos defense, which was arguably top 5 last year. Patrick Surtain, a lot of people think is the best corner in football, if not in that discussion. It's under Vance Joseph, it has completely gone the other way since Vic Fangio left. And like I said with JQ on Monday, damn, does it look like this defense needed Rex Ryan? I mean, he even said if I was coaching this defense, this would not be an issue. And I think we can all agree on that. Rex Ryan is a defensive mastermind, the likes we rarely get to see very often. But yeah, it's 2 losses, 0-2, both at home, where you usually don't lose because it's mile high and you defend that. And now you got to go to Miami and that track team of an offense, and your defense is struggling. That's going to be tough. It might be a shootout because the offense for the Broncos is working good and the defense for the Dolphins is not very well. But finally, Justin, we're going to get to this. All right. I'm going to hand it off to you. Justin, give me your 3 stars of week 2.
Doing now because I feel like this is something. I don't know if you got the first clip of what I said. I think I was muted, but I'm super excited for this right now. This will be something that we do for every week now. So I don't think you're doing yours this week. You've got next week. Am I right? Okay. So number 1, we were just talking about these boys. I'm going to touch on the Washington Commanders, but specifically Eric Bieniemy. That man should be a head coach already. He has the offense thriving, spreading the ball around to all the playmakers and getting it out quickly to negate pass rush. It's a perfect situation to have a young starter like Sam Howell thriving. And Bieniemy is making life significantly easier. He was dialing up great play calls and was a huge reason why the team came back and won that game. Only 2 games in, so it may sound like I'm jumping the gun, but Washington's offense has looked much better than they have in years. So Eric Bieniemy, shouts out to you. You should be a head coach. I don't know what's happening, but I'm anticipating that man's going to be a head coach very, very soon. Number 2, I'm going to highlight a player. Going down to the dirty in Atlanta. Bijan Robinson. Man, oh man, the highlights that I've been seeing of him, there's just one play where he's just juking dudes out of their shoes. He goes 19 rushes for 124 on the ground, 4 receptions, 48 receiving yards. Didn't get into the end zone, but a big reason why Atlanta came back and beat Green Bay in that 1-point game. I think it was 25-24. Shouts out to Atlanta, who surprisingly is 2-0 right now. So shouts out to Atlanta and what's going on there. So excited to watch Bijan. Man, so mad he's not a Patriot. But anyways, then my third, and I did not expect this one because I actually picked this team to lose. I'm going to give some love to Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. Going into Detroit, everybody was hyped up about Detroit. CJ Gardner-Johnson talking about the ski mask, getting everybody out there wearing their blue skis. Geno Smith and the Seahawks had other plans. Taking Detroit to the brink. Geno throwing for 328, 2 touchdowns on the road in Detroit. Hostile environment. The crowd was loud, pumped up, expecting big things out of the Motor City. And Seattle goes in there and steals a W in overtime. Shouts out to Geno. Shouts out to Seattle. I'm done talking shit, man. Your offense is good. I'm going to respect that. You guys make plays. I won't doubt it whatsoever. I got to give some love to Geno because he's showing out. He showed out that day. Those are my 3 stars of the week.
3 stars of the week. And above all else, the one guy who should be on that list is one by the name of Baker Mayfield.
Honestly, so he was okay, respect, honorable mention. He was on that list for me. Bucks also starting 2-0. They're a pretty cool team to watch. The connection that Baker and Mike Evans really seem to be having right now. So I'll give Baker his flowers. And I wasn't wrong. I mean, I picked the Bears to win that game. Bears were right in there up until Justin Fields' pick 6 at the end of the game. They were a touchdown away from winning that game. Bears were in it. And they suck. The Bears are in the news for horrible shit this week.
Yeah, it never worked. We actually, let's talk about that quickly, right? The Chicago Bears are in the news for a lot of things, Justin, and a lot of things that aren't very good, right? First off, you got their defensive coordinator, Alan Williams, I believe his name is, resigning from the job after a supposed FBI raid.
Yeah, some people are saying that's not true. I don't know what's true from that story or not. Trying to avoid it.
I don't know. It bad look though. Anytime FBI raid and your name are put in the same sentence, that's not a good look at all.
Never good.
No, never good. But more, I guess, would be the Justin Fields comments of playing robotic, thinking too much, and basically blaming the coaching. I had a little back and forth. I wouldn't call it a debate, just a friendly conversation with a couple of people on Twitter about this. And I couldn't believe people actually were defending Justin Fields and what he said. I was like, and I could not believe that people were saying it was taken out of context. I couldn't believe that he even said it himself. Justin Fields said this was taken out of context. He told the media himself. And it was like, Justin, no. I know the media does that a lot, but this time they did not take that out of context. You specifically said coaching, and then you elaborated on it.
Mhm.
I was just dumbfounded by people actually were defending him. Franchise quarterbacks don't do that. If you don't throw your coaches under the bus. Franchise quarterbacks say, I gotta play better. I gotta do better. I gotta help my team win more and compete harder. That's it. Like, you don't talk about. He turned that press conference, Justin, into his own personal therapy session.
Mhm.
It's like, what are you doing airing out this dirty laundry to the media?
Yeah.
You don't do that. For people, anybody that says, well, he was asked a question, so he answered the question. Okay, you asked a question. You don't have to answer it that way. You can say what I said. It's on me. I'm the quarterback. I take responsibility. I got to play better. Point blank, period.
Mhm.
That's what you do. You don't do what he did. And then people still trying to defend him say, oh, well, he just, said the media took him out of context and he comes back a couple hours later. It's like, no, man. Guaranteed somebody got into his ear after practice and they said, you got to take that back, right? The PR or coaching, whatever, you got to take that back. And that's just what it is. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Listen, it was a bad look completely. I'm trying to find something on Twitter right now that I saw. I think he made it his mission to go out there and hug his OC Luke Getsy in practice today, and make sure it was caught on camera. And they made it a nice little joke. But I mean, it's a real mess what's going on in Chicago. And I mean, I've been watching a lot of Dan Orlovsky and the stuff that he's been talking about on Twitter and on TV, and everything he says is right. Just the way that this guy's processing, you can just tell that he's overthinking. You can tell he's thinking too much on the field. And there's this one play, and even before Dan Orlovsky showed it, I saw it on one of the replays where he has a touchdown of a guy going up the seam, and he cocks back like he's ready to throw it and just doesn't. And he pulls back, and then he attempts to run up the middle, and he's literally just runs into two defensive tackles. And for what? Like it's unusual the way he processes the game. So as much as we want to point at coaching too, and while that's a huge part, it's also Justin Fields. And it's a big reason that, he's an explosive player. And I think he gets too run happy. He gets excited to use his legs because that's such a dynamic part of his game. But just because you have the legs doesn't mean you always got to use them. You know what I mean? You got the arm. That's the point of the quarterback. Show off that cannon because you have it. But this seems to be a reoccurring issue with him where, we crack at Lamar. A lot of people come at Lamar, used to come at Cam Newton, come at all these mobile quarterbacks about throwing the football. No, he's the one. Justin Fields is the guy that you got to come at for about throwing the football. Yeah. I mean, look at the stats coming about him going up against Patrick Mahomes. I think the highest completion percentage versus the lowest. It's not close. It's not even close. It's horrendous watching him play football this way. He's an exciting player when he's on, and I hope he finds it. I really do hope he finds it, because if Lord knows what that Bears offense can be if he does. Because DJ Moore, I think they got a soundbite of somebody talking to DJ Moore on the field, and they're like, "Man, they're not using you right," and he's like, "This, you telling me?"
You're telling. Listen, this whole, I think it's a whole mess in Chicago. I think Chicago is a poorly run franchise. I think they've been a poorly run franchise for a very, very long time now. I'm not a believer in Justin Fields. I don't believe he's going to develop as a pocket passer. I understand the athleticism. I understand that type of skill set, but not everybody is going to be a Cam Newton, a Lamar Jackson, a Michael Vick, who never really developed as a great passer. RG3 or Jalen Hurts even more recently, right? Developing that passing ability. I don't think he's going to be end up being one of those guys. The offensive line sucks. They don't really have that many weapons. You get DJ Moore. It hasn't worked out for the first 2 weeks.
You see, but the thing is, I believe they have a lot of weapons. I think they have weapons on the offensive side. I think if you gave Mac Jones the receiving core that he has, the receivers, I think Mac Jones looks incredible working with DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, and company, he will look fantastic. Because that's explosion. They have explosive guys that can take the ball, take the top off the defense, can make one-on-one plays, can turn a slant into a touchdown. That he has those guys, but he just can't get them the football. Can't get them the football.
No, and that comes with the processing and the developing and reading the field and just developing as a quarterback. I everything about what he said really rubbed me the wrong way. That's not how a franchise quarterback talks. That's not how a franchise quarterback acts. That's not how a high-end player talks or acts. Especially a quarterback, and you're basically telling me you're confused out there. That's not okay in my book. That's the last thing I want from my quarterback is being confused, because as a quarterback, and I never played it, but I know this from listening to people much smarter than me. Quarterback has to know what every single person is doing on that football field, including the defense. They have to know everything. All right, they have to do pre-snap. They have to know where everybody is. They have to make sure everybody's lined up. Everybody's ready to go. They have to read the defense as it's snapped. They have to. It's so much more than just throwing the football, and obviously Justin Fields is just not getting it right now. All right, so let's get into a little bit more of a down in the dumps, Justin. Speaking of the Bears, which 0-2 team is in the most trouble? We got the Cincinnati Bengals that we talked about. We got the Chicago Bears that we just touched on. We got our New England Patriots. We got the Denver Broncos we touched on. The Arizona Cardinals, not surprised. The Los Angeles Chargers, the Carolina Panthers, the Houston Texans, both first picks, back-to-back, 1 and 2, and the Minnesota Vikings. Justin, which 0-2 team is in the most trouble?
Hold on. I was on mute. I'm going to stay away from the Cincinnati Bengals because I know you and JQ spoke about them, and we spoke about them a little bit today. So I can go multiple ways with this. I can say Chargers. I can say New England. I can say Minnesota. So realistically, I view them all on the same playing field. So my real answer is all three of them. But to pick on one, I'm going to say the Minnesota Vikings, the team that I was high on going into the season, starting off 0-2. What should have been a give me of a win in week 1, the way the Buccaneers started that game and the way Baker Mayfield looked in that first half. You gave him life. You gave him enough time to come back. You kept that door open just a little bit, and that ruined it. And then Buccaneers come running back, and then Baker Mayfield has a star day. Bucs win. Week 2, surprised me. I thought the Vikings were going to get absolutely rolled over in Philadelphia, but instead they surprise you, and they play a good football game as opposed to losing 40-3 like they did last year. But they show up here. They had the game. A lot, and they threw it away, quite literally. Justin Jefferson quite literally threw the ball away in the end zone. And boom. They had a fantastic game plan against this Philadelphia Eagles team, but now it gets concerning because now you have the Chargers, both two teams. Somebody's going to break their, losing streak. Somebody's going to do it. Both offenses have looked pretty solid up to this point. Defenses haven't been looking fantastic. They're both fighting for it. But I think the Vikings are in some big trouble because I think Green Bay is a better team than they initially expected, and then Detroit is very good too. So what went from this is Minnesota's division to lose, here they are 0-2, looking at a 0-3 slate right now.
Yeah, I love that matchup that we're going to talk about a little bit more. The Chargers-Vikings, both 0-2 teams. The rubber has to meet the road in that game, or they end in a tie, and then, we continue the streak, right? Before I give my pick, anybody who's watching this video at this point, please, if you like this content, please give it a thumbs up. It's not that hard. Just press the thumbs up button. We really, really appreciate it. We love it, and we love you if you do it. And who doesn't love? Share the content on social media with your friends and family. Subscribe if you are new. Helps us out. We want to thank the couple of new subscribers for the Wise Guys podcast and the Wise Guys Shorts channel. Go check that out. Links are in the description for that. And comment along with us and tell us how you feel about the certain topics as we go through the list. But as for me, which 0-2 teams in the most?
Real quick, one last point that I want to make on the Vikings and let you roll. Last year, the Vikings were one of the best teams, if not the best team regular season-wise in one-score games. And here they are. They've lost their first 2 in one-score games. So that can just goes to show to tell you this is much more tougher than last season.
100%. Yep. Which 0-2 team is in the most trouble to me? I don't think it's the Bengals. The Bears are the Bears. I wasn't expecting them. I think it's the Los Angeles Chargers. And I think it's the Los Angeles Chargers because they should have been competing for the divisional crown with the Kansas City Chiefs for the last 2 years, to be honest with you. And they have done nothing but honestly shit the bed. And Brandon Staley in particular, in my opinion. I hate that I'm honestly piling on Brandon Staley, but this is the truth, and the truth has to be spoken, and the truth hurts sometimes. He was brought in on his merits as a defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams, which he was only ranked 16th when he was hired. So I don't know how that works, but okay. He comes into Los Angeles. He's got an offense that is prolific with Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, and at the time Hunter Henry was the tight end. The offensive line is okay. It's getting better. You got Rashawn Slater, and when he's healthy, look at the stats. He's healthy now. He's arguably the best left tackle in the game. I know Trent Williams is out there, but he's right up there with him. And you got Justin Herbert, this young quarterback with all the talent in the world. And then you're brought in on defensive merits, and you got a defense that's got Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. You bring in J.C. Jackson last year. You bring in Khalil Mack. I mean, you go through that list, Justin, and you go, those are all game changers and playmakers. And this defense can't stop a goddamn nosebleed. I mean, you pick off Trevor Lawrence 4 times in the wild card last year in the first half. You go up 27-0. And you blow that lead. Then these last 2 weeks, you have given up, I believe it's 61 points in the first 2 games. And the offense has suffered 0 turnovers. 0. So it's not the offense's fault. They're not turning the ball over. And this defense can't do anything. You surrender a game to Ryan Tannehill? I don't get it. I believe Brandon Staley should have been let go after that debacle last season in Jacksonville. I think they made a mistake not wanting to pay him off and bringing Sean Payton in. And I don't believe Brandon Staley should be fired before season's end. I don't think he should be fired if he loses to Minnesota or midway through the season or at any point through the season. I don't really like doing that unless you're going to be a 2-14 team, which I don't believe the Chargers are going to be. But I do believe Brandon Staley is going to be let go at season's end. And what happens next, that's where I get a little bit foggy. Is Kellen Moore upgraded to the head coach? I'm not a big fan of Kellen Moore as a head coach. OC, he's good. He can help develop a quarterback and make it very prolific. But as a head coach, I don't believe it. And now you bring in a head coach. Let's say you bring in a Jim Harbaugh, which I think would be absolutely perfect for this job too. You think he's going to want to keep Kellen Moore around? No. So now you're going to have to pay him off. Now you're going to have to pay off Brandon Staley, Kellen Moore, and pay Jim Harbaugh. That's a pretty freaking penny. If you could have just gotten rid of all that mess, got rid of Brandon Staley at the end of the season last year, hired Sean Payton, and now you'd probably be in a much better state. Now you're not. I don't understand what's going on. So Chargers are in most trouble.
Forget that. I mean, my star of the week, my number 1 was Eric Bieniemy. Imagine signing him to be your head coach to go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs twice a year, And now I get it. Offense is really never the problem for this team. It's usually falling on the defensive end or something. But
yeah, but usually want, when you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert, Justin, you usually want to pair him with offensive mind, right?
Absolutely.
Unless you can get a Rex Ryan or a Bill Belichick, which you're not. So you go out and you've got 2 options last year, 2 options in the offseason. A guy who's going to use, hopefully his resume and his career is not diminished with his time in Denver, because it quite literally could be his Hall of Fame career, could be on borrow time if it goes even rockier in Denver. You got Sean Payton. You got Jim Harbaugh looking to come back to the NFL. You're the Los Angeles Chargers. You play in SoFi Stadium. Los Angeles, big time, Hollywood, La La Land. Make the moves. You see what the Rams did. Now, they sell their soul for that Super Bowl win? Yeah, but guess what? They can forever call themselves Super Bowl champions now. Los Angeles Chargers, what the fuck have you done, like I said on Monday? What have you done? You've done nothing but blow a 27-0 lead and make the playoffs once with this roster. Once. That's what you've done. And now you're 0-2. Guaranteed the thing is... guaranteed if Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh are your head coach, you're probably more likely 2-0 than you are 0-2.
Mm-hmm. No, I believe that 100%. And you know what? I think you said you can't see Brandon Staley being fired in the middle of the season. If this train continues to go down, I think it is going to happen. I think Kellen Moore will be elevated as a head coach because, one, I think he's due. He's due for that job. He's done a fantastic job with Dallas as an OC. And I mean, not so much in the postseason, but he's shown it in the regular season. So I really do believe that he'll probably get that job. But looking at the defense, you said Brandon Staley's that defensive-minded head coach. Bro, Ryan Tannehill dotted you up. He only had 4 incompletions all game, 20 of 24. Traylon Burks, all you had to do was play. I was watching the game, play action pass to start a drive. Bomb down to the field, 70-yard bomb to Traylon Burks, setting the Titans up for a touchdown. And then once that happened, it was just downhill from there. Yep. So it's a tough one, man, because realistically, if your defense has looked like that in the first 2 weeks, and now you got the Vikings offense that has been pretty good. Kirk Cousins has been throwing for 300-plus yards in each game. You got Justin Jefferson and T.J. Hockenson coming at you now. That's a problem. Yep. That is a problem. If this Chargers team starts 0-3, I'll be honest with you, you'll start hearing stuff because then you got the Raiders, and I guarantee you and I are in agreement here. If the Dallas Cowboys are healthy, I don't care, even with Trayvon Diggs out, Chargers are not beating the Cowboys. No. They're not beating the Cowboys. And the Raiders can play a good game against the Chargers. Yeah, it's a divisional game. It's a divisional matchup. So you don't even know. We might be looking at this Chargers season right now, and they're 0-5.
It's quite possible.
And I know it sounds crazy to say, but that is a real possibility. Yep. They might be 0-5.
And listen, and I didn't say I don't think it could happen. I just said if I was the owner or the GM of the Chargers, I wouldn't do it because I'm not a fan of firing a head coach in the middle of the season unless, like I said, you're going to be 2-14 or something like that, which I think they're going to probably be more likely a 7, 8, maybe 9-win team.
Hey, man, they can go 0-6 too. I just saw the Chiefs are after the Cowboys.
Well, yeah, they still have to play the Chiefs twice. They still have to play the Broncos twice, if I'm not mistaken, and then the Raiders twice. So those are, offenses that can put up points and their divisional opponents. So the Chargers are not looking good. That is my team is in the most trouble. Which 0-2 team is in the most trouble? The Los Angeles Chargers, because I think that they are literally like that little knife that Thanos gave Gamora. It's literally bouncing and it's starting to teeter the other way. And if they fire Brandon Staley in the middle of the season, it's an even worse look because it's like, you should have just did it in the offseason and you would have had a much better shot this season with the Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh. I honestly feel bad for the Los Angeles Chargers fans, if there's any, because I know they didn't even want to leave San Diego in the first place. All right, next up, Justin, let's quickly give our top 5 teams in the NFL, our power rankings, Justin.
Cool. I love this. We've had some success with our Instagram reels on this in the past, us talking about our top 5 rankings. So I kind of missed this, man. All right. My top 5 is a little wonky. It's only
Start from 5.
Start from 5? Okay. So it's a little wonky. It's only week 3, so obviously things are subject to change. So don't crucify me for anything that you hear right now. My number 5, my top 5 teams here. I'm going to start at 5. I got the Miami Dolphins sliding in at 5. I know some people might be saying, okay, so I wonder who's really in the top 4 now if you got the Dolphins starting in at 5. I think that offense is absolutely ridiculous. Watching what they did against the New England Patriots, just how quick Tua was getting the ball out of his hand. hitting his targets, super accurate. He had one miss downfield where Christian Gonzalez got his first NFL career pick. But for the most part, Tua has looked very poised in the pocket, making the smart decisions. And that's really the X factor for Miami. We know Tyreek Hill's going to show up. You know Jalen Waddle's going to show up. Is Tua going to show up? And you know what? And they showed more than that. Raheem Mostert showed up too. So I think we got a lot to be afraid of about that dynamite offense in Miami. I think they'll probably end the season as the best offense in football. So I'm going to take Miami at number 5. I was high on them last year, even higher on them this year. Number 4, I have the defending NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I know they haven't looked, like world beaters over the first 2 weeks of the season. You thought they would have probably knocked the Patriots off by a lot more on the first game of the season, but they didn't. Still got a W. Played Minnesota. Close game, neck and neck. Still got a W. When somebody bottles up Jalen Hurts, all you have to do is hand the ball off to anybody in that backfield, and they're going to go. I think they had like 250 yards on the ground in week 2. It's ridiculous. Number 3, your boys. I'm going to Dallas, going with the Cowboys at number 3. I know you're probably wondering who the hell could be above them. But yeah, Dallas at number 3. I think that defense is frightening. Micah Parsons and TJ Watt are neck and neck right now. I think it's just a 2-horse race to me when it comes to Defensive Player of the Year. I think the Cowboys are going to be elite. I'm waiting to see more out of their offense. They took a big blow losing Trayvon Diggs today, unfortunately, but I still believe the Cowboys are a good enough team that they might be hovering around that top 5 level for quite some time. Number 2, I said it in the preseason, and I'm saying it now. I think the best team in the AFC resides in Baltimore. Best team in the AFC resides in Baltimore. And Lamar Jackson is showing you that. He showed you it in week 2. This Ravens team is scary. And look out, because they're not looking now for just a divisional crown. They're eyeing a Super Bowl crown. They might be representing your AFC in the Super Bowl this year. Number 1, I've been riding with them since last year. I got a San Francisco shirt on my chest right now. I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers, and I'll be honest with you, it's not close. It is not close. I think this team is absolutely scary. What they did in week 1 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who people went into it thinking, yo, Mike Tomlin's going to have these boys revving to go, ready, pumping their engines. Did not happen. Week 2, they have a tight game against the Rams. Ultimately, they step up later in the game and they play like their regular selves. They get the W. I think Brock Purdy is undefeated now in the regular season for his career. I think he's 7-0. He keeps on winning. I think the 49ers are just going to continue that. They're my number 1 team. My honorable mentions, obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're going to be back in this top 5 eventually. Somebody's going to have to fall out of there. But as of today, September 21st, I got the Dolphins 5, Eagles 4, Cowboys 3, Ravens 2, and the San Francisco 49ers are my number 1 team in the NFL.
Solid list.
It was tough leaving the Chiefs off, maybe, just because all this confidence that I have in Kansas City.
My homeboy.
Yeah, really.
So for Brandon's top 5 teams in the NFL currently right now, at number 5, Justin, I have your Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson looked pretty damn good against Cincinnati after a week 1 that was kind of a little rocky against Houston. But again, not playing a lot of preseason football, get a little rusty, come back, takes a couple weeks to get ready. So I got the Baltimore Ravens at number 5. The offense is hopefully Odell is. It sounds like he's going to be back. It's nothing serious. I just feel so bad for him. He can't stay healthy. Zay Flowers is looking pretty good. He's still got Mark Andrews, top 4 tight end in the league. Running back, doesn't matter who they put in the backfield. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, and freaking me or you, they're going to get good yardage out of it, right? They've got a solid offensive line. Their defense is always going to come with the ferocity and a force because they're just some teams. The Baltimore Ravens and the Steelers are always just going to have really good to great defenses. They just are, and they're playing without their best corner in Marlon Humphreys right now. So I got the Baltimore, and respect to Mr. John Harbaugh, elite head coach in this league. Just at number 4, I do have the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, led by Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce, who is back, and Chris Jones for that matter. Listen, am I worried about the Kansas City Chiefs a little bit? Yeah, I am. Their tackles have not been playing well at all. They just had to plug in their backup right tackle after giving their starter a 5-year, I don't even know how much money guaranteed. They had to bench him because of how many penalties he was getting. They also Orlando Brown in the offseason. Obviously, he's in Cincinnati now. Besides Travis Kelce, they've got really nothing. Now, Patrick Mahomes can make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and especially with Andy Reid calling the offensive plays, they can decide some things, right? But it's going to catch up to you eventually. And I think it will this season. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have a little bit of a down season. But for right now, they are my 4th team in the NFL because of Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce coming back with Chris Jones, who is arguably, not arguably, he's a top 5 defensive player in the league right now. That's how much he impacts the game. And I think you all saw it last Sunday. Number 3, Justin, I have the reigning defending NFC champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, 2-0 right now. The Philadelphia Eagles had a go at it with the Minnesota Vikings, right, on Thursday Night Football, playing without Bradbury, their second best cornerback. They were able to hold on to that game. Jalen Hurts has kind of hinted at towards people that are close to him that his shoulder isn't 100% healthy still, so that could explain some of the inaccuracies and struggles that he's had this season to start. A.J. Brown was obviously not happy on the sideline against the Minnesota Vikings, but they're still an elite defense. They're still a very elite offense. They've got arguably the best. They've got one of the best O-lines in football. They've got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They've got Dallas Goedert. They've got DeAndre Swift, DeAndre, right? His first name is DeAndre, right? Yeah. They've got DeAndre Swift, who had a monster game against the Minnesota Vikings, and Jalen Hurts is still your quarterback, and you got Nick Sirianni. So I got the Philadelphia Eagles as my number 3 team. Number 2, Justin. I'm not liking what these people are doing, right? The number 2 team in the NFL is the San Francisco 49ers, all right? They've got a great team. Nobody is taking that away from them. They've got, after today's news, the Trayvon Diggs injury, they now have the best defense in the NFL. It's back to the 49ers. They've got an elite offensive line on the left side. Right side is kind of taking a little bit of a hit after losing McGlinchey, I think that's his name, to the Denver Broncos. Still got CMC, who's showing that he's still a top 5 back in this league. You got Deebo Samuel, the best yak receiver in the league. Brandon Ayuk, who's playing outstanding football. He's going to be out this week, but he's playing outstanding football. And you got George Kittle, the second best tight end in all of football. And Brock Purdy is still playing at a very high level for this team. So I got the San Francisco 49ers as the number 2 team, Justin. No disrespect, but the number 1 team is and should be the Dallas freaking Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have not – listen, they've played subpar teams, all right, but they've dealt with them handedly. Justin, I'm looking at it right now. Their point differential is plus 60. Plus 60. They are once again the leaders in the turnover ratio and takeaways and giveaways. They've led the league last 2 years in the NFL, and they're on their way to leading it again probably for this season, 3rd straight season. The Dallas Cowboys are playing outstanding football. That defense before the Trayvon Diggs injury was the best in the NFL. Now it has slid down to 2 or 3, losing Trayvon Diggs. That offense is playing very well right now. Dak Prescott is playing mistake-free football. They're running the ball a lot with Tony Pollard. I'm liking that. They're not having to do a lot on offense yet. They're not having to show what they can do on offense, except for Mr. CeeDee Lamb, who played just in. This dude was out of control against the New York Jets, who was supposed to have a historically great defense if you talk to DJ Reed. That ain't the case because CeeDee Lamb ate y'all asses up. But I have the Dallas Cowboys as the best team in football right now. Is that probably going to change this week with Trayvon Diggs' injury? Yes, 100%. But for right now, my top 5 teams in the NFL are 5, the Baltimore Ravens, 4, the Kansas City Chiefs, 3, the Philadelphia Eagles, 2, the San Francisco 49ers, and number 1, the Dallas Cowboys, Justin. That's my top 5 teams.
I'd say one of my biggest gripes with the Cowboys hype is, you mentioned the mediocre schedule. So we'll talk about that. Obviously, Giants come into the season with high expectations. Week one's the biggest. What's what we say? The week one's the biggest toss up in sports. So it's one of the biggest toss ups. You don't know. You really get to see what some teams are about. We saw it right away. Giants don't got it on the offensive line. Dallas exposed them immediately. Week 2, going up against a Jets team where no Aaron Rodgers. And I'll be honest with you, the way the Dallas Cowboys defense played, but the way the O-line of the Jets even played, I don't think Aaron Rodgers wins that game either. I think Dallas was just absolutely on fire and just world beaters at the moment. But they're just beating up on teams that really they're supposed to at this point. These are guys, little kids at the lunch table that the bully just picks on. And then you got another one in Arizona that you're going up against. And then week 4, you got New England. And those are our guys too. But our O-line, I don't know if they're capable of even containing that madman and Micah Parsons. So we went up against Dallas, I think, a year or 2 ago, and we almost took them to the brink before Mac threw a pick. But realistically, they're playing up against little kids at a playground at the moment. They haven't really been actually tested. And I don't know, I got to pull up their schedule because I got to see when's their first true test. Obviously, New England won't be a walk in the park because you still got to deal with Bill Belichick and that defense.
Yeah.
But
I think
after that,
Philly.
Okay, so week 5, San Francisco.
There you go, yeah. That's
Sunday night in San Francisco. Yep. So that's your real test. And then you got the Chargers, then you got I believe the Rams, and then you got a big one against Philadelphia. So
yeah, so they're going to be
really week 5 is their real test.
Yeah, that's just how the schedule played out. They got 3 easy games, and week 2 wasn't supposed to be an easy game. Aaron Rodgers was supposed to play. That just happened.
Well, then again, nor was week 1. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, but what I will say about Dallas Cowboys, and I hear you with the weak schedule, but if it were close games, Justin, I'd hear you a lot more. But they're dominating, and that's what they're supposed to be doing. Bad teams, you're supposed to dominate when you're a great team, and that's what the Dallas Cowboys have done. And I think they're going to do it again against the Arizona Cardinals, even though they don't have Trayvon Diggs, which I've just. It
gives me
my mood.
It gives me college vibes. It's like watching the spread for a college game, minus 23.5 for a team, or minus 32.5. That's how I feel when I'm watching these Cowboys games against these guys. So against Arizona, I don't know what the spread is, but what is the spread for Arizona? Okay, we're going to get to that.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. It's like Alabama playing Alabama Tuscan or Mississippi Northern State or whatever the fuck some of those.
Even Alabama right now doesn't look that fantastic.
They're not looking so good. What's going on? Nick Saban, St. Nick. Come on, man. What's going on? All right. Speaking of Pick'em, let's get into it, Justin.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Thursday Night Football, which I believe is kicking off, or it has kicked off officially. So let's yeah. I'm looking at it right
is
now.
It on Amazon?
It's on Prime Video, yeah. So you gotta make sure you're on Prime.
Anything else?
Is it on anything else? No, Prime Video. You don't have Prime?
Oh, I thought it was on NFL Network, so I got to get my remote to put that on.
I don't think it's on NFL Network. I think it's just on Prime now exclusively. But I think we both agree.
I'm actually going to start the game on.
Okay. But I think Justin's probably in agreement with me. The San Francisco 49ers are probably going to win and win big. Right, Justin, you agree the San Francisco 49ers are going to win this game?
I got San Francisco. The spread, I believe, was minus 10.5. I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to say the Giants keep it. That they're going to, go by the spread. I take the Giants plus 10.5, but I got San Francisco winning that game.
I got San Francisco winning, yeah. All right, next up, we got the New England Patriots taking on the New York Jets. The Patriots, I believe, have won 14 straight against the New York Jets. No Aaron Rodgers. It's Zachary Wilson playing. Justin, who you got? Marcus Jones just got put on IR for the season. He tore his labrum, which absolutely sucks.
An absolute blow. I'll be honest with you. I had these two teams splitting, and I'm going to keep it that way. I think the Jets get their first win against New England in a long time. Don't say that with pride.
I think the New England Patriots are going to get the job done. I think I cannot see, Justin, Bill Belichick team starting off 0-3. And especially when this must-win game is against the New York Jets. So I got the Patriots winning this game. A close game. It's going to be a defensive game. But Mac Jones has looked very, very good through the first 2 weeks. That offense is looking a lot more polished and better. It's just week 2. Honestly, both weeks were winnable, Justin, both games that we played the Patriots. And we honestly should have won if just a couple of balls bounced our way. Week 2, it was just about finishing drives. We couldn't finish drives. We could move the ball just fine. We just couldn't finish drives at all. And we were missing 3 of our 4 cornerbacks. There was literally Gonzalez out there who was playing outstanding, but we were missing Marcus Jones, Shaq Jones, and Jonathan Jones. Going against that track meet, we did as good as you could ask any other team to do without 3 of our 4 starting cornerbacks. Next up, the Baltimore Ravens stay in Baltimore and take on the Indianapolis Colts. Ravens are 2-0. Baltimore is favored by -8.5. Justin, who you got?
I'm taking Baltimore. You know I'm running with them for a while, so don't expect me to pick a game against them for a little while.
Yeah, I think this one is a pretty easy one. Indianapolis is not that team. Anthony Richardson might not play due to a concussion. Prayers out to him. So I got Baltimore winning this game pretty
Shout out
if I got
to Minshew. Minshew actually played some good football.
Yeah, well, Minshew comes in there. Minshew does Minshew magic type shit, Justin. That's what he does, man, and you got to believe in that stuff. But it's going to run out against the Baltimore Ravens. Next up, we got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have fallen on the hard times. My prediction, Justin, I'm going to say it now, my prediction of the Cleveland Browns being the best team in the AFC is dead. It's dead. Nick Chubb is gone. Jack Conklin is gone. You lose arguably the best right tackle in the game in week 1, and you lose arguably the best running back in the game in week 2, back-to-back weeks. You are in for trouble. They signed Kareem Hunt. That kid Jerome Ford actually looked pretty damn good, especially that one run and Deshaun Watson gave him a pretty good block, 69-yarders, almost a touchdown, almost. Minka Fitzpatrick was able to get that shoelace on him. It's just, and Denzel Ward went out in the middle of that game too. It's just injuries are attacking this Cleveland Browns team, and they can't afford it. The Tennessee Titans are a tough team. But I will say the Cleveland Browns are going to be able to win this game. It's going to be a very close game, but I think the Browns are going to be able to win this game because I'm not a big believer in Ryan Tannehill. So give me the Cleveland Browns.
It's week 3. It's a home game for Cleveland, but I'll be honest with you. Deshaun Watson, still, you could see flashes on some plays. I'm not as optimistic. I haven't been as high as on him as you have been overall over the last season. So I'm actually going to roll with Tennessee on this, getting a big win on the road. They played close games, both in week 1. They probably should have beaten the Saints if Ryan Tannehill didn't throw 3-4 picks to the other team. Nick Folk wasn't responsible for all their points. In week 2, they got a big win against the Chargers, coming back, winning that game, making some big throws. If Tannehill's playing efficient and not giving the ball away, Tennessee will win games. So I'm going to take Tennessee.
Yeah, not a bad pick. Tennessee Titans are a live one to win that game. Definitely not a lock for Cleveland at all. I'm not very confident in it. I just think in Cleveland they can get the job done. Next up, we got the Denver Broncos going to Miami, Justin. Miami is favored by 6.5. That track meet team going against a struggling Denver Broncos defense is going to be a tough one. Teron Armstead has still yet to play for the Miami Dolphins, their starting left tackle, all-pro, and Jalen Waddle is questionable. Justin, who you got?
It's going to be a shootout. But I think Miami is going to have the success. I'm going to take Miami. I think it's going to, like I said, it's going to be a shootout. It'll be a close one.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a shootout. Miami's offense, obviously, highly prolific. Denver's defense has not shown up at all. Denver's offense is actually looking pretty good. What's his name, Justin? The young kid, Mims Jr. His first name, Marvin?
Marvin Mims.
Marvin Mims Jr. I keep calling him Denzel. Marvin Mims Jr. Had a great play. Big bomb, 60-yarder for a touchdown from Russ. Jerry Jeudy, hopefully he can get back on track from that hamstring injury. Courtland Sutton has had a couple of solid games. But Miami is going to win this game. But I do believe it's going to be a shootout. I think they could actually probably cover that 6.5 spread. I don't think the Miami Dolphins are just going to blow them out of the water.
I agree.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the Buffalo Bills headed to Washington to take on the Commanders, who are 2-0, But Buffalo is favored by 6 points. Justin, you rolling with your boys?
I'm rolling with my boys, man. Listen, week 2, I expected the Raiders to actually cover the spread and keep it a little close, but just Buffalo was just too much to handle. Josh Allen was making plays when he needed to, and really, I know it's hard to count on him not turning the ball over, and I know that's the criticism behind it. But when he doesn't turn the ball over, this Buffalo team is almost unstoppable on the offensive side. I'm going to take Buffalo here. I think Josh Allen continues that role.
Yeah, I think Buffalo is going to win this game. I think the rhetoric behind Josh Allen for the first 2 weeks or after the first week was a little bit. Listen, I'm not very high on Josh Allen, obviously, but he's a top 10 quarterback. He's got elite talent, right? He's just a very turnover-prone quarterback. I think the whole can you trust Josh Allen? I mean, Stephen A. saying he trusts Tua Tagovailoa over Josh Allen to me is just absolutely gobsmacking. I'll take a guy who will turn the ball over a guy who I don't know if he's going to be there if he gets one hit. But yeah, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills should be able to win this game, get back on track, and I still think that they're the favorites to win the AFC East. People are just counting them out. They're going under the radar, which is actually kind of good for them. Listen, fly under the radar, not much pressure. All the pressure, put that on Miami. Put that pressure on Miami. Let Buffalo and Josh Allen just stay under the radar. Next up, you got the Atlanta Falcons headed to Detroit. Detroit is favored by 3 points, Justin. But the Falcons head into that game 3-0. Is Hotlanta going to keep the hot streak going?
Honestly, I'm taking Atlanta. And it's a ballsy one. I think Atlanta's defense is playing very well right now. They're playing good football, and if they can keep this game close, I think this can be Atlanta's game for the taking. I think Bijan has another big game. I want to see Desmond Ridder get Drake London and Kyle Pitts feed those dynamic weapons of football more. I think Atlanta's going to find a way to get this W. I really do believe so. Upset.
No. I think with the loss that they had against Seattle, I think Detroit's going to come out here and play the inspired football. The streak has ended for Jared Goff, the interception streak, so that is a weight off of his shoulders now. He doesn't have to think about that anymore, or people ask him questions about that anymore. What does suck is C.J. Gardner-Johnson is on IR now. That's terrible for them, especially that defense. While it played great in week 1, I always thought that's still their weak point right there, and Gardner-Johnson was a major addition to that defense, which was really going to help. And it has a lack of stars on there, and losing him is just suffering it even more. David Montgomery is most likely not going to play. That's good for me because Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get a lot more touches, and I'm hoping Jahmyr Gibbs finally because they keep freaking teasing me, Justin, saying, we're going to give it to him now. We're going to give it to him now. All right, well, listen, every time I see this kid with the ball in his hands, all I know is good things happen. So I just need this kid to have the ball in his hands more, and I think things are going to happen. I think Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin, these guys are going to make the Detroit Lions and Atlanta Falcons look like very good teams for drafting them both in the first round. So I got the Detroit Lions taking care of business at home and going to 2-1, and the Atlanta Falcons are a fraudulent 2-0 team. You all know that. Their defense is playing outstanding football, though. AJ Terrell is balling out. He's an elite cornerback in this league. Next up, lockdown. Next up, we got the New Orleans Saints, another 2-0 to 3 2-0 teams in the NFC South. Who would have thunk it? The New Orleans Saints 2-0 are headed to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Packers are favored by -1.5. Justin, who do we got?
Jordan Love has played good football. I think he has 6 touchdowns to no interceptions over the first 2 weeks of the season. He's playing efficient football. I'm going to actually go Green Bay because they're home. I think they defend their home turf. I think the spread is only 2.5 on Green Bay's end. 1.5. So it's a pick 'em. So I'm going to take Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you.
And by the way, New Orleans did not look great on Monday night. They did not look great against Carolina.
No, they did. Their defense did. Besides the end, which they really just played prevent defense, and that's why Young was able to drive down the field. But like I said, I told you, New Orleans is a team where usually when you take them out that dome, they struggle a little bit, and it's a real thing for these New Orleans and these Atlanta teams. Seattle, they struggle a little bit, and I think that they're going to struggle again. The Green Bay Packers got a very good defense. Jair Alexander, what I say, he's top 5 cornerback in this league. The defense is playing really good football. Jordan Love is playing pretty damn good football. Christian Watson hasn't even played yet, but that Reed kid is balling. Dobbs is doing his thing. Aaron Jones, maybe he's going to be back. You still got Dylan. You got one of the best O-lines in the NFC. Listen, the Packers are doing the thing. I do think the Packers take care of business in Green Bay and get the job done. Next up, Justin, we got the Houston Texans 0-2 headed to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, who didn't look all too impressive against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jags are favored by -8.5. Who you got?
Listen, I don't even know if Trevor Lawrence threw a touchdown this past week. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars here. I think the Jaguars need a win in a big way, not just a squeak of a win. No, they need to break the doors off of this Houston team. And I think Houston is not even a bad group. I think they got some nice little players that they got over there. But I'm going to take Jacksonville, and I'm going to take them big. I don't know what the spread is like for that game, but I'm going to take Jacksonville and the
-8.5.
Yeah, and I'm going to take that.
You're going to take it. Yeah, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they cover, and I think they dominate the Houston Texans to take care of business at home in Jacksonville. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Chargers. Here's the game, Justin, the big one. 2 0-2 teams. In Minnesota, the Vikings taking on the Chargers. Minnesota's only favored by 1 point. It's basically a pick 'em. We got
somebody's got to get a win, right? If this finishes in a tie, Brandon, I'm taking the next couple episodes off just because I'm just like I'm just gonna be so confused at the state of the universe after that. I'm gonna take Minnesota here. Minnesota's at home. They've been so close to these victories. I feel like, last season they were such a good team in these one-score games. I think they'll get back to that. I think Minnesota gets a win in a close one. It's going to really come down to which quarterback is going to turn the football over more.
Yeah, listen, I think while we've talked about the Chargers have the talent on the defense, their defense doesn't play like it has that talent. And the Minnesota Vikings defense is just not existent. It's not very good. So this is going to be an offensive game. It's probably going to be a shootout. I'd love to pick the Chargers, but I'm not going to pick the Chargers. I'm going to take the Vikings because they're in Minnesota, and I just don't believe in the Chargers. I really don't. I think they're going to end up messing it up. Next up, we've got the Carolina Panthers 0-2. Bryce Young is most likely not going to be playing in this game, so we're going to be getting a little Andy Dalton, Red Rifle.
Red Rifle.
Yep. Headed to Seattle to take on the Seahawks, who are 1-1 now. Seattle is favored by -6.5. Justin, you going with the 12, man?
Taking the 12 man. Seattle at home. Is this Seattle's first home game? I believe so.
Let me double check. No, Rams. They started out.
Oh, Rams was the first home game? Okay, so they need to right some wrongs after that week one loss. So I'm going to take Seattle and the points.
I'm going to go with Seattle, and I think that they're going to do their – yeah, they're going to take care of business again. They're going to cover that 6.5 spread, Seattle Seahawks. Like you said, losing – and they lost bad at home to the Los Angeles Rams 30-13. They need to give that 12th man something to cheer about this Sunday at 4:05 Eastern time. And I think the Seahawks are going to take care of business and get the job done against Andy Dalton. It's going to be not a very warm welcoming for Andy Dalton back into the starting role. Next up, we got the Dallas Cowboys 2-0 taking on the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. Dallas is favored by -12.5. Justin, no Trayvon Diggs. Has Arizona got a chance now?
Oh, you're hilarious. No, absolutely not. Listen, and I say that, and I don't even want to disrespect Josh Dobbs because he played a pretty good game last week against the Giants. He played a solid game even in week one. And going back to last year, his little stint with Tennessee, played some solid football. He's not a bad quarterback at all. I just don't believe that Arizona has the front to be able to deal with this Cowboys team. I think Cowboys win by $1 billion.
$1 billion. $1 billion. Yeah, I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to put another beating on a lower tier team here in the Arizona Cardinals. Not much to say. The Dallas Cowboys are going to take care of business. When I saw that report, Justin, Trayvon Diggs being with the torn ACL, it just literally killed my whole mood. It was the same feeling I had with the Nick Chubb. It just absolutely devastated me. And it's like, it reminds you that injuries is one of the worst things in sports. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Listen, it happened the day after his birthday too. So that makes things easy.
And he was apparently supposed to go to a Beyonce concert today. He was going to have a suite. He had a suit all lined up for him, and now he cannot go. Sucks for Trayvon. Wishing him a speedy recovery and the best. He's one of the best in the game. Next
Man,
up, we
get
got
that knee wrapped up. You got to still make it to the Beyonce concert, man.
It's just you can't be doing it, Justin. You can't be doing it. You gotta rest. Next up, but then again, it's Beyonce, and you kind of just gotta listen. It's Beyonce. It's Beyonce.
It's Beyonce. That's what I'm
Queen
saying.
B. Stephen
No,
A.
if you're a part of the Beehive, you got to make it.
Yeah. What are we doing here? Can we get those tickets? Can we go? I'll go to a Beyonce.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'll buy the flight.
No, you won't. You ain't gonna afford no Dallas flight.
Why not?
Next up.
Well, I just got called broke on a live stream by my friend Brandon.
We're both broke. It's all right. We're both broke boys. We're living in the same broke boy. Next up, Justin, we got the Chicago Bears headed to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 12.5.
Hey, man, with all the stuff going on in Chicago right now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Chicago comes out strong. I think they cover that spread, but I'm going to take Kansas City.
Yeah, I don't think it's a question. Can the Bears have a good game? Yeah, but I don't. It doesn't really even mean anything to me. Kansas City Chiefs are going to take care of business to get the job done. Travis Kelce looks like he's 100% healthy here. Justin, you went through that freaking drink fast, man. Jesus Christ.
You think so? I thought I was sipping on this thing.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm.
It's 8:35 and I'm drinking Starbucks. So realistically, I gotta finish this.
No, you did take your time. That's just me, being shot a little bit. All right, next up we got Sunday Night Football. Justin, the Pittsburgh Steelers are headed to Vegas to take on the Raiders. The Raiders are favored by -2.5. We got.
Yo, give me Pittsburgh. One thing I'll tell you. I don't know what to expect out of Najee Harris. I don't know. I'm waiting for this guy to explode. This guy does not look like the running back that he was in his rookie year. He got off to a slow start last year, too, before he started to pick it up. But you can't keep getting off to these slow starts, man. You got to actually, break through the holes that the offensive line creates for you and just go. His reads seem a little off. So I don't know how to feel about Najee, but I feel like George Pickens really showed out last week. I think we're about to see George Pickens start to show out a little more and more every week now. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh.
I mean, yeah, going up against that Raiders defense, he's primed and ready to show out. It's just, when you got the people in the stands literally chanting fire, Matt Canada, it's not a good look. And I think that's probably going to have to be dealt with soon. Listen, a lot of people aren't a believer in Kenny Pickett, but I think everybody can agree that Matt Canada is not helping this kid out, really.
But you know what? I don't even believe Matt Canada called a bad game last week. I think maybe there might be more questions on the Kenny Pickett side of things. I mean, you could overcome some of the faults of an OC, especially when you have the talent that Pittsburgh does have on the outside. They get receivers in. So realistically, it's Kenny Pickett. His decision making at some points is a real head scratcher. So I'll be honest with you. I think if I use Mac Jones as another comp as a comp because of his IQ, but if you put him in Pittsburgh week one, you probably have a much better game than what you did with Kenny Pickett because he just did not look right. So yeah, I'm taking Pittsburgh this game. Like I said, if that connection between Pickett and Pickens gets going, if Najee Harris can find it, T.J. Watt is a game wrecker all by himself. I'm still taking Pittsburgh, even with the faults.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh is going to get the job done. I don't believe in that Raiders defense. Chandler Jones is still not back, and he's probably not going to be back.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh's defense is real. Pittsburgh defense, yeah, I do too. Pittsburgh's defense is real. Minka Fitzpatrick, he's probably not going to play. He suffered an injury, I believe, to his chest, if I'm not mistaken. So for me, I'll go Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin, better coach. Going to have his team ready to go for Sunday Night Football. And yeah, I just think I believe in the Steelers more than I believe in the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, next up we move to Monday night. 2 games again. I believe it's the last time. We got the Philadelphia Eagles headed to Tampa Bay, 2-2-0 teams to take on the Buccaneers. Philly is favored by 5 points. Justin, who we got?
I wonder if I'm very curious on what you're going to pick for this. So I'm just going to be quick with mine. I'm taking Philadelphia. I think they keep rolling. I think Jalen Hurts finds it a little bit. Are you really doing this?
Am I super confident in this pick? Not really.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with it because I do believe Philly has played pretty close game. I don't feel they have played two very close games and two games that they could have lost easily. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have played very good football. It's in Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield is wheeling and dealing. That defense is legit. I'm rolling with Tampa Bay. Like I said, I'm not super confident in it, Justin. I'm not going to bang the drum and hit the hammer on the head right here, but I'm rolling with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not going to be in my parlay, I tell you that much, but I'm rolling with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield to get the job done. Starting off 3-0.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. But listen, it could be a good game. If Baker's on it fast, if Tampa Bay can get off to a good start, you just never know.
Yeah, you never know. And listen, that defense is legit. The defense shows up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be a tough night for Jalen Hurts. Next up, we got the Rams. Last game of the slate, the Los Angeles Rams headed to Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is most likely not going to play if my thoughts were in it. Cincinnati's favored by -3. That's probably because they think Joe Burrow is going to play. Who you got, Justin?
It's so weird watching this Rams team play. They played two very good games to start the year. Really took San Francisco to the brink. Not too many people really expected that. They got a new version. People like to call him Kapuka Cup. So this guy was targeted 20 times last game, reeled in 15 for 147. I'm going to say, LA is going to go into Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going 0-3.
I think so too. I think even if Joe Burrow plays, I believe the Los Angeles Rams are going to win this game. They're playing very, very good football, even with all the rookies they got. Like you said, Matthew Stafford, I really hope he gets his credit now and his due for being an elite quarterback and being a top 5 quarterback in this league. It's not crazy now to say what he has done with this team. He's making guys by the name of Puka and Tutu Atwell into household names. He's making them look like all-pro receivers. Okay, along with Sean McVay and his offensive genius, but Matthew Stafford's the one going out there and cooking the food. It's outstanding to see this guy come back after he was written off and people said injuries, he's done, the arm is a noodle, it's not going to be back to what it once was. He's absolutely balling right now. He had one boneheaded play where he threw the pick. The other pick wasn't his fault. It was bobbled out of the receiver's hands and it was picked off. But listen, super close to beating the San Francisco 49ers with this team. Who would have thought this team, this Los Angeles Rams team, would have only lost by 7 points? I know a late field goal, and they kicked it. Point differential, got to do what you got to do. Mad Dog was not happy about that, Justin, on first take. Apparently, he bet a lot of money on the plus on the -7.5, and Sean McVay kicks a field goal down 10 points with 3 seconds left in the game and ruins it for him. But you can't do it anyway, man. You got to do what you got to do. Point differential. Sean McVay, smart guy. Point differential. End of the season, we got same record. Got to be on top of it, Justin. Got to be on top of it. Right now, I'm looking at it, Justin. I haven't been really watching it right now, but 3-3 right now. Close game. Almost.
Giants moved the football well on their first drive. Daniel Jones was making some good moves. He missed one where Darren Waller was almost open up the seam. If he just was waited a split second, he probably would have had him deep for a touchdown or for a big play. But I don't know. Yeah, Brock Purdy threw a dime to George Kittle just recently. But yeah, looks like some good football to start this one.
But Justin, I have to switch gears to the NBA real quick. News dropped a little earlier today. Brian Windhorst is reporting that apparently Donovan Mitchell will not be re-signing with the Cleveland Cavaliers at season end this year. So that got speculation going. Is Donovan Mitchell New York Knicks bound?
Yep. Lock it in, baby. Lock it in. Listen, this is the most confident I've ever felt about a superstar wanting to be somewhere. The writing was on the wall a long time ago. People have said he wanted to be a Knick. He thought he was going to the Knicks upon the trade. When he heard he was traded, he thought it was New York. It was Cleveland. If he's not going to resign and he's going to test free agency, I think all signs point to him coming to New York, and I think that puts us in a good spot because if that's the case, and New York can stand pat, don't make any foolish trades, don't go jump the gun, play with what you have this year. Realistically, we don't have a bad contract on our roster right now. I mean, you want to talk about Evan Fournier, but that's running out. So there's really not a bad contract here. Save it. See what happens in the offseason. You bring in Donovan Mitchell to play with JB. You bring him in to play with Randall and RJ. You don't lose anything. You're just gaining. And I think that'll be a great, great piece for the New York Knicks. I think he wants to be here, somebody that's electric to really blow the doors out of Madison Square Garden. I think it's something that I'm super pumped for. And realistically, you know, the Knicks played great basketball last year. Some people didn't expect them to make the moves that they did. And, you know, if not for Boston finally winning those 3 games to push it to a game 7, I'd say the Knicks probably played Miami almost the best in the postseason. It was competitive throughout the whole way through. Really, you shake your head, but I mean, it's the truth. We played outside of the NBA Finals.
Justin.
That's crazy?
Jimmy Butler doesn't.
No. Okay, but you're saying if, but I'm saying the fact the Knicks played Miami hard.
No,
they did.
Okay, they played them hard. They didn't play them the toughest in the playoffs.
But no, I said one of the toughest. I know Boston ended up playing 3
games. Justin,
you guys, they ran through Milwaukee, and then when they played us, realistically,
there's no realistic.
We make a couple shots. No. I don't want to make this a.
Yeah.
No. I don't want to make this a thing where I'm like focusing too much on the ifs. But the realistic point is the Knicks played hard. The game 1 was competitive. Game 2 was competitive. Game 3 we got rocked. Game 4 I believe we got rocked. Trying to remember. Game 5 we got a W. Am I right?
Won.
And then game 6.
Game 5 you won. Yeah.
And then game 6 was a close one that we almost probably should have won. So no, but that's my point. We almost took you guys to 7, and you guys almost swept Boston. So I think the Knicks played a lot better than what people expected. I think some people have the Knicks as a NBA Finals team. I don't have them going that far. But
that one guy,
I think,
ESPN, stop bringing that guy up.
Well, even today, Zach Lowe was talking about the Knicks, and he said he doesn't believe that it's that crazy to possibly see the New York Knicks playing in a conference finals this year. And to be honest with you, I'm being real here. I'm not saying this as the Knicks fan. I mean it. Philadelphia is in shambles right now. We don't know what's going on up there. Milwaukee has a lot of questions. Who's going to be playing behind Giannis? Do you believe in that core anymore? And then Miami, I'm afraid of Miami. I always have all the respect in the world for them. Boston is relying on an injury-prone core, and now you got Kristaps Porzingis. A lot of questions to be seen. A lot of questions that need to be answered.
Okay, I gotta stop you. Okay,
and the one team that is relatively the same and made an improvement this season, this offseason, is the Knicks.
Oh my God. Okay, Jesus Christ, no. Okay, even with the question marks for the Milwaukee Bucks, Justin, they still have Giannis freaking Antetokounmpo. Okay, one of the best players in the NBA. You still got Middleton and Holiday, and that's going to be a good core, and they're going to be a top team in the East. All right, Boston is going to be there. They're a top 2 team in the East. All right, Kristaps Porzingis makes them better. You've got Philly, whatever. They've got question marks. They're still a better team than you, regardless of those question marks, Justin. And then Miami Heat, like you said. This is your Knicks fandom coming in. You're trying to stay objective, but you're not really seeing the whole picture of it. You would have gotten swept if Jimmy doesn't go down in game 2. That's a fact, okay? Because you lose that game in game 2, and then you lose both games in Miami. That's a sweep right there. That's a sweep. So I don't see it. Listen, this was supposed to be about the goddamn it, Justin. This was supposed to be about
talk about Donovan Mitchell. Stop it.
We were talking about, but you freaking started this, and you brought it up for no reason. You started going, well, we could be in the freaking conference final. We could be the NBA finals. We stayed relatively the same.
I didn't say NBA finals.
RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, guys there that aren't going to be the guys later. But now if you bring in Donovan Mitchell, I think you're gonna have to probably get rid of R.J. Barrett. If I were you, I would get rid of R.J. Barrett to bring in Donovan Mitchell. You can just get a couple more pieces that are gonna help out more than R.J. Barrett. More shooters, in my opinion. You can get more shooters, 3-and-D guys. Donovan Mitchell comes in, he instantly makes you obviously a better team. You're probably gonna go from you're gonna jump Cleveland. Obviously, they're gonna take a step back. You're gonna probably jump Philadelphia. So you're going to be right there as the 4th seed. We'll see where Milwaukee ends up, but you're not going to be better than Boston or Miami right there. So, listen, I do believe Donovan Mitchell is New York Knicks bound, but let's wait until that happens, and let's not, let's pump the brakes on them being a competitive team in the Eastern Conference this year, because that's not going to happen. Justin, I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen.
Okay, I can't wait till the Knicks prove you wrong. And you know what? Realistically, because I know you keep saying that it's my Knicks fandom coming in here, but the truth of the matter is, and yeah, I know it's an if, and I know we hate talking ifs, but I'm going to use it regardless. I think if Julius Randle can play up to his regular season numbers in the postseason, I think the Knicks do get through. I think the Knicks can make another step, but it really does come down to Julius Randle making that necessary push. Because if you have this continuous, playoff flop out of him that we've done the last 2 postseason runs we've had, then the same shit is just going to continue to happen. We're going to have more questions about Julius Randle. But if he can play up to his regular season numbers come the postseason time, and I know I'm asking for a lot, I think the Knicks can really make a run. And I don't say that as a just a Knicks fan. I say this as a person that likes watching some basketball. Julius Randle is underpaid compared to so many people in the NBA. If you start looking at some of the contracts out there, the Knicks, like I said, the Knicks don't have a bad contract in the world right now, aside from Evan Fournier. For what he does in the regular season, he just needs to prove it in April and May. Because if you do that, I guarantee you, the Knicks probably come away with that game in Game 6. They might win Game 1 with a good Julius Randle. So, but it's just like I said, it's a matter if Julius Randle can bring that into the postseason. Because if he does, with Jalen Brunson playing at his best, the Knicks are a scary team.
Yeah.
And for the first time in my life, I'm able to say that.
Okay. Well, let's just wait until Donovan
really
Mitchell
since 2013-ish.
Okay? And I do believe Donovan Mitchell is going to be coming. So you get hyped for that. You can buy your Donovan Mitchell jersey when he comes to New York, Justin. All right, let's wrap up this episode. Donovan Mitchell, come on. He's going to be the best player on the team when he comes in. All right, let's wrap up this show with a little bit of a fun topic, Justin. A little bit of a movie draft.
I'm
5 rounds.
This, just so you know.
Snake style. I'm not that prepared either, but we're going to go in it. We both like movies. We're going to be drafting our favorite comedies of all time. Mm-hmm. So I should probably actually have got a coin to flip, Justin.
I am not prepared for this whatsoever.
I have a quarter over here. Hold on. I gotta put my goddamn shoes on. My feet are hurting. I forgot to prepare myself for that with the shoes and the hurting there. Okay. I'll let you call it. Justin, say heads or tails.
Okay, heads.
It is heads. So you get the first pick of the draft, Justin. Who are we going with?
One of the funniest comedies so my favorite that has lasted me a long time that I could watch consistently over and over again is Step Brothers. I could watch that over and over again and always laugh. So I'm going to steal Step Brothers from you because I know that would be on your list.
Justin, that's literally my favorite comedy movie of all time. It's the greatest comedy movie of all time. I could turn that on and literally laugh my ass off and possibly almost be on the brink of death because of how funny that movie is. Literally every line and for me now, I've seen it so many times, I anticipate every line. So I'm laughing before the joke is even made because I know what's about to happen. You stole that from me. I'm very upset about that. I thought you were going to go a little bit wild on me there. But I will take my second favorite comedy movie of all time. Another Will Ferrell great, The Other Guys. Give me The Other Guys.
You know what's another one? The Land of the Lost.
All right, well, let's listen.
It's not on my list, but
But I'm just saying, Land of the Lost is a very good movie. Love that movie. I forget the guy's name. The hairy motherfucker, Justin. Apiki, whatever the hell his name is. I love that when they have the scene, Justin, and they go to the vibrating thing. And they put their hands on. If you believe in love, he's like, dude, it's like vibrating. If you and then Will Ferrell's like, dude, come on, we're childish here. He's just like, oh, I love that. Okay, you took several from me. That kind of threw a wrench in my plan. All right, I'm going to take an underrated movie, but one that I think has well, I do believe Step Brothers is the funniest movie of all time, Justin. This movie has what I believe the funniest comedy scene of all time. It literally had me on the floor of the movie theater dying when I first saw this. Give me This Is the End.
This is the end. Okay, so that's okay. It's a funny movie to me.
It's not okay, just it's great. And the scene I'm referring to is the scene of Danny McBride and James Franco going out about Danny McBride ejaculating on his magazine, and James Franco getting upset about that. And it is literally one of the greatest things you will ever see if you watch that clip. It's just goddamn hilarious, Justin. Mm-hmm. Come on, the fuck I want.
So for me, my movies I feel like are so much more different than yours because I have a different style of humor. So
that's
we
why
laugh
I wish
at the Will Ferrell things.
From me, man.
So, but that's one of my iconic ones that I grew up watching. Like I could recite Boats and Hoes. That should be my ringtone, but I work with kids, so I can't do that.
I'm not gonna call him dad, even if there's a fire.
So honestly, my next one is probably one way out of left field, but I actually very much enjoy movies like this because me and my girlfriend really could sit down and just bust out laughing about it. It's a broad one, so I'm just gonna say any one of these movies that are in this branch, but I'm gonna say any of the Madea movies. Anything Madea, Tyler Perry, Madea always makes me laugh. The voice, the jokes, everything about it to me is hysterical. Whether it be Madea Goes to Jail, Family Reunion, her Halloween thing, I love Madea.
Madea. All right. You Snake Style. Your pick again.
Do you watch Madea? Have you seen Madea?
That's where he dresses up as the big woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen it when I was a kid. I haven't seen it in a very long time, though.
Okay. Yeah, Medea's hilarious to me, man. I could watch that frequently. Okay, so I'm up again.
Frequently.
Jeez. Is he taking it to the house? No, he's not. Okay. Damn. So I need another one. What's another iconic funny movie to me?
I got a pick ready to go, and you swear to God, if you take it, it's legendary. Just think of legendary comedy movies, Justin. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, bro, but that's the thing. I didn't prepare for this. I'm not thinking of all these movies that, like, if you were telling me shows, like.
Think of actors, and then think of their movies.
I love movies like Meet the Fockers, stuff like that. Those are iconic to me.
Okay. Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers, Gaylord Fokker.
Damn, bro. I really don't know. This is tough. I'm probably better off just doing the top 3 than the top 5.
You haven't even got your third one yet, Justin.
I haven't even got it. No, that's what I'm saying. At least I could probably come up with something for 3. Like, I'm not going to say Anchorman. I actually tried watching it the other night and I fell asleep. So
you suck for money.
No, it was late. I'm an old man, bro. This is my bedtime, man. I'm showering.
So then why don't you just take Anchorman then?
Because I didn't watch it. I fell asleep.
That was the first time you were going to watch it?
Yeah, I knocked the hell out.
There's 2 of them, by the way, if you didn't know that.
Yeah, I do know. They have them both on Netflix now. See, if this was TV shows, this is easier for me. But because it's movies, I would love action movies. So I don't watch too many comedies.
Pick a friggin' action comedy.
Okay, here's one that I think is hilarious. Game Night.
Okay, I've seen that before.
Game Night is hilarious.
Okay. Justin finally takes his goddamn time and comes up with a movie. Game Night is funny. I like it. Jason Bateman, Rachel McAdams, I believe, is in it.
Yeah,
it's a very funny movie. It goes
there's the one guy when they're the one with the part with the neighbor when they're walking away and he's like
with the Fritos.
The Tostitos scoops.
The Tostitos. He's 3 for 4 or something. 3 for 4. It's like, it doesn't seem very, how are they making money on that? I don't know. He just got the dog in his hand, right? All right. I'll save you, Justin, here. My third pick is going to be The Hangover. I mean, how can you forget about The Hangover, dude? That. The Hangover is a legendary comedy movie. I can't even say the funniest line in that movie, the iconic line in that movie, because we will most likely get canceled if I do say it, so I'm not going to say it, but I think everybody knows what I'm referring to. It's when Stu is in his house waiting for the guys to show up. They pull up in the car, and they then say it to him. And next up, I can't believe you didn't think of this guy either, but I'm going to take it. My favorite Adam Sandler movie, give me Big Daddy.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
I love Adam Sandler. I wipe my own ass, Justin.
All right, so let's see what
I got. Kangaroo song.
Oh, how could I forget this one? All right, my number 4, Superbad. I love Superbad. That's a classic. My boy McLovin. Chicka chicka what?
Yeah, McLovin.
McLovin. All right, that's my guy. So I got one more.
What? Yep.
All
right. Chicka what?
Now this is tough. Okay, I need one more.
Did you know apparently he got on Jonah Hill's nerves during like the script because he would like cut him off. He would basically out-comedy him. Hit him with comedic timing and just basically cut Jonah Hill off every time, and Jonah just kind of got mad about it. But it made it a lot more funnier to Michael Cera and everybody. So,
oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
They're cool, not in like a hatred way.
Okay.
Just
My last one, Grown Ups. You really can't go wrong with Grown Ups. I think Grown Ups 1 was hilarious. I love when Rob Schneider's daughters come out and they're all like, what the hell is this? But that movie was classic, bro. I could watch Grown Ups 1 or 2 and always laugh. There was that guy who was hurt and he was in the cast the whole time watching the basketball game. That was a funny movie. That's a classic.
Wrong sport, buddy. Wrong sport. All right. Oh boy, I do like Grown Ups. It's not one of his very favorable comedies, but I do love Grown Ups.
It's a good family one too, though. So it's pretty cool.
Very good. You can watch it. I mean, it's got comedy icons too: David Spade, Kevin Smith, Rob Schneider, Adam Sandler, obviously, Salma Hayek. I mean, dear Lord Almighty. Let's see what my 5th pick is going to be, Justin. We rounded off with Anchorman because you didn't want to take it, so I'll take it.
I'm going to watch it. I got to watch it.
You have to watch it because it literally just has, another iconic lineup. I mean, it's Steve Carell. I'm blanking on the other guys' names. John something, whatever. Listen, Paul Rudd. There you go, Paul Rudd. Will Ferrell. That movie's incredible, Justin. I can't believe you haven't seen it. It came out in 04.
Listen. The reason why I want to see it. So the reason I need to see it is because there's one scene that I've seen on Twitter constantly where they're singing. It's a
yeah. I'm my baby, I'm a roller tire. Afternoon delight, sky rocket tonight. Afternoon delight. They just go off on it, and then they just continue. You gotta watch it, dude. It's fucking hilarious. Justin. You gotta. Brick killed the guy.
My cousin, he's a big Anchorman fan. And he knows that I'm into the gym, so every time that I mention anything about working out, the first thing he says is Tuesdays arms and back, just because of how much because he loves it.
Listen, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love the first and second one. It's great. Steve Carell absolutely kills it as Brick. Loud noises. Once you hear it, you're gonna understand a lot of these quotes. I love Lamp. It's great. I just don't understand how you haven't seen it. You live under a rock, Justin?
Listen, bro, I named some good movies.
You did name. I mean, the game night was a little bit of a. I think you're gonna get hate. We're gonna put this.
49ers.
We're gonna put this on.
Flag.
We're gonna put this on the clips, the clips and stuff, and we're gonna have people react to it and tell us their thoughts on Justin's list. I think mine pretty much kicked your ass, but
I mean, I feel like I'm gonna lose a lot of people with the Medea thing. I don't think anybody's as big of a fan as Medea.
I mean, you might get some people that like Medea. There's some Tyler Perry guys out there.
Well, yeah, I don't think more so assholes all over TikTok just gonna criticize it. So it'd be like, who's this uncultured person?
I mean, you did get the number 1 overall pick in Step Brothers, so you did save yourself there. So that's good.
True.
But
there's so many good comedies out there though. Like, so it's kind of tough to go out there and say, like, I love Kevin Hart movies too. Kevin Hart always makes me laugh.
I mean, it's just Adam Sandler, a ton of movies for Adam Sandler. Jim Carrey, we didn't pick any Jim Carreys. Will Ferrell still got a big catalog to go with. Paul Rudd, 40-Year-Old Virgin, didn't even pick 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I thought about it at the end.
There's so many good ones out there that you got. I mean, Daddy's Home, I'm still a fan of. So many.
Chuck and Larry.
Chuck and Larry, now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. I mean, there's so many very good movies out there. Highly great comedy movies. Not so much nowadays. Times have changed. Comedy's not the same, but No Hard Feelings was good. No Hard Feelings was good with Jennifer Lawrence. I haven't
seen that one.
It came out in June. It's on digital now, so you can check it out.
Okay.
It's good. Strays was disappointing. The one Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx's dogs. Yeah, I thought it was going to be. I was so hyped for it, and honestly, all the great funny moments are in the trailer. So I kind of saw everything I needed to see, and I was like, damn, this kind of sucks.
I should have put Zootopia in mine.
I watched Zootopia. Solid.
Hilarious.
Solid. Oh, my God. I'm an idiot, Justin. I just thought of one of my favorite comedy movies I didn't draft.
What?
Horrible Bosses.
Horrible
Bosses. Horrible Bosses. Oh, my God. When Charlie Day's on cocaine, it's absolutely hilarious.
Next thing we got to do is shows. Forget just movies. Next one, we have to do shows.
We'll do TV shows next.
See, at that, I won't.
Justin's like, I'm dominating in TV shows. Next episode, dominating. Justin's like, I don't know which ones to pick, guys. FCC Airways, Justin, what are we doing? Come on. No, I'm just kidding.
It was. I was just. My
we're on YouTube. It's fine, Justin. So what are we? You've been paying attention more to me about this Thursday Night Football. So before we wrap it up, just give us your overall thoughts on what you've seen so far on Thursday night.
Giants are about to get the ball here. Nick Bosa is just wreaking havoc. Almost drew a safety on the Giants here. 49ers just got on the board. Brock Purdy just threw a touchdown to the left side of the end zone. 10-3 49ers. Giants keeping it close. Defense seems to be playing tough. Face mask drew the 49ers closer to the end zone. Bad penalties. Just Giants got to stay out of their own way. Got to make plays here. Can't be pinned at the 10-yard line in their own territory. That's just a recipe for disaster.
Especially against that defense.
Yeah, so you can't do that. But I think the Giants are still playing good football. I think by this point in the game, most people expected this game to be already like 14-0 It's 10-3. It's still a one-possession game.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I think Thursday night games are days where teams like the Giants can kind of get one over. Maybe they won't win, but get one over on teams like the Niners because it's a short week, have less time to prepare, and it's kind of just like go out there and play football. So yeah, I think it's primed for the Giants to cover the spread. I don't think they're going to win, but it's primed for them to cover the spread. Listen, the 49ers are,
Amen, but listen, you never know. Realistically, for me, what I feel like is the key for the Giants in this game, one, I need to see a heavy dose of Darren Waller. I need to see that. Feed that monster because the guy can absolutely eat. He's a matchup nightmare. So I mean, Fred Warner can guard practically any tight end. He's lightning quick. But also the return of Wan'Dale Robinson is something that I was anticipating. He caught a reception earlier. So feed those young guys, man. Feed Darren Waller, feed Wan'Dale Robinson, and see where it gets you. Because I think those are two guys that if they can catch their stride, will make a massive impact for the Giants offense. So we'll see what happens.
Are you by chance watching the Prime Vision one or just the regular broadcast?
Regular broadcast.
Okay. There's this new thing they call Prime
I've never
Vision.
heard of Prime Vision.
Yeah, it's brand new, next gen stats, and it like shows up things for you. I guess it's free with it. You just got to click out of it and choose it. It's interesting. It's interesting to see.
I'll give it a look. I mean, I'm a big fan of Kirk Herbstreit too, so I'll stick around for the regular prime one.
Well, no, the same commentators. It just
You still
shows,
hear
like,
that? It's just what shows the stats. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it shows little things up here. Certain stats like how the degree of difficulty for the pass, who's open, who's not open, stuff like that. It's interesting.
That was a bad play by Daniel Jones. You got to get rid of that ball sooner. You had no play there. Just get rid of it. I mean, he did get lucky.
I did see a lot of that.
I did see a lot of
that in their last game against the Cardinals, where he likes to hold on to the ball a little bit too much and then not get the ball away.
Yeah, just stop trying to force it. I think he's just trying to do too much, be a little bit of Superman. And at that point, bro, throw the football because he got lucky. He was even able to get his hands out.
I'm watching it right now. Yeah, I'm just watching the replay. He literally just tossed it. As getting tackled, it's just not smart. Yeah.
No.
Like I said, a lot of players,
like I said, doing too much.
A lot of quarterbacks get away with a lot of stuff in today's NFL they wouldn't get away with years ago because of the rules. But we have done a very long episode for you guys here. It's getting late for us. So we're going to sign off.
Sir.
Thank you all for joining us for episode 128 of the Wise Guys podcast. Talking week 2, talking week 3. Our predictions are in. Fantasy football's coming in. We're doing good. Locked and loaded. I have been Brandon Capozziello. That was Justin Ray. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share the content, everything. Y'all know what to do. Follow us on Twitter. All the good stuff. Links are in the description. And Justin, send us off.
Good night, guys. Stay classy.
Late is gay.